Hello, it's me again. We've been here before, and here we are again. I've made this coming back speech many times before, and I'm going to do it again. Maybe a little different. We're trying something new. I've tried to restart this over the. You know me. You know these videos. I've got a couple of them up here, and you've heard me talk about this before. You know the instability of my life, the constant disruptions that seem to drop out of the sky and magically land on my head like an anvil. You all know I had to move last year. I've talked about the fact that I've kind of gone out of the frying pan and into the fire. I don't have the most quiet place to work, so I tend to do what I can do at night, very late at night. I'm a night owl anyways. I'd love to be able to change that. It's never going to happen. Unfortunately, one of the side effects from this is that my art skills have tremendously suffered. The disruptions and the uneasiness and everything else combined has taken away a lot of the joy of drawing, has taken away my ability to draw, at least as well as I used to. And I've tried to restart many times. And I felt like every attempt was doomed before it began. So why am I doing this? Where am I at now? I've never really stopped wanting to draw, and I think I should make that clear. That's part of me. That's internally part of who I am. I'm an artist. I've been that way since I was a child, coloring with crayons, watching dinosaur movies. It's the stop and start cycles. Through my whole life, for the most part, that wear on your nerves after a while. And you know what that's like. It's a conditioned response. You become afraid to do something because you know something is going to happen. I also deal a lot with fatigue, a lot of both mental and physical fatigue. I'm not talking about tiredness, although that does come into it because my sleep's a bit of a mess. But I've sat at my desk and tried to draw, and literally my face is like falling into the screen because I start falling asleep. And then when I try to go to sleep at night, I don't sleep. But then I'll go through periods at night where I'm wide awake. Sometimes I'll wake up at 4 a.m. like with all this stuff in my head, and then I have to get up out of bed and do something. But the truth is, as of late, I haven't done a lot. Some doodles in my iPad, some little bits of work, and I've been trying to find ways to get started. Whether it be for YouTube or just something, some sort of creative outlet of some kind. One thing that did come up recently, sounds kind of unusual, but bear with me for a moment, is I started learning how to do screenplay writing. I just all of a sudden started reading into it because I've had so many ideas in my head for so long. I used to sketch out storyboards and jot down little story ideas, and I had stories in my head for a long time. You'd think I've talked about the characters from my little animated space adventure that will probably never get done, and the actual scale of that, it's not really that little, but I've had full stories in my head about that and how to convey that. And I started quite by accident looking into screenplay writing. Found it very interesting. There's still lots to learn on that. It's not like something you just open a few pages and read about it and instantly you're a reader. But I also had another secondary story that came into my head. It's unrelated, but it was an outlet for me, and I started writing that because I felt like that was a good test ground for me. And I started to flesh this whole thing out, and before I knew it, I had a complete 5-season television series written. I know that sounds bizarre, but it was just within a few weeks. It's not completely written every line, but each episode is there. It's 8 episodes per season. It's a whole breakdown. I'm not going to actually get into what it is, but I just kind of like to save it for now. Anyways, but out of that came something else I did. Don't hate me for this, just bear with me for a moment. I'm hesitant to talk about this, but it helped bring me around to a new turning point. In learning to do this, and learning to do screenplay writing, because I'm terrible with grammar, and when you start layering in different plot lines and characters, I lose track of things very easily, even though I have it written out. and I started using ChatGPT. Don't everybody freak out. You're using AI. I know. I will never use it to create art. Understand that. AI I will never use to create art. The only thing I used it for was organizing my thoughts and organizing ideas and to keep it in an organized fashion, because part of why I never grasp onto things and get started properly is because my brain is all over the place too much. Way too much. And this helped bring everything in, and it helped get me organized. And it's why I'm doing this now, because I almost gave up. You remember I did a video last October. That was the last thing I did, and I thought maybe I wouldn't be able to do this again. I've been doing these terrible live streams, and I wasn't happy with any of it. I was really kind of quietly tearing me apart inside, to be honest. I don't like saying that, but that feels like kind of what was going on. So now I'm trying to break the cycle. So what does this mean for now? What does this mean for my channel? I'm trying to reset. I'm trying to bring myself back in. We're trying to jumpstart the car here and start drawing again. This is really important to me. I'm 57 now. I'm never going to stop. There's no sense on me telling myself, that's it, I quit, because that's going to drive me even more crazy if I do. So I'm going to try and do something with it. And in doing so, I kind of want to document the process. I've had some ideas for a long time. I talked about doing art as therapy, and that's something I think I'm going to try and integrate into this. You'll see what I mean once I kind of start doing that. Yeah, I'm not a therapist, don't get me wrong that way. But it's just, I feel like everybody should pick up a pencil and draw, and I think it can be very mentally therapeutic, and how to do that. And that's something I'm going to touch on eventually. So it's not really learning again. I'm not relearning. I'm just not pretending I'm already there. I am going to be doing at least a video a week. I'm going to try and force myself to do that. I really am, for a few reasons. There's bills to pay, right? Let me come back to that, though, in a moment. I'm going to try and do the live streams again. I think I should still do at least once a week. The art block I'd love to bring in, and I have an idea to kind of rework that a little bit. We'll try and do a couple of shorts that are either taken from those videos or live streams, or I'll just make some shorts that will gear people to it, because shorts are counted separately for your watch time. They're not counted as regular watch time for your long form videos. So shorts, I'm not big on shorts, but they're only there because they get into the YouTube universe and it can point to my long form videos. That's the only reason for it. I had an idea for doing Procreate. I had an idea for doing that little Flintstones thing I was talking about, and maybe we'll come back to that. Learned to do traditional animation, trying to play around with that again. Not a lot, but that was kind of where my roots started. I have books I wanted to review, that kind of thing. So that's all hopefully going to come. I also have a merch store, Printify. Printify, I just started getting that going. It exists. I have a link for it, and maybe I'll put that up soon. It doesn't have a lot on it because I'd kind of stopped and started. But there's some things there. There's some stuff, and I'm going to be putting up some more product. That's coming up. So I'll try and keep plugging that. I'll keep putting the link in for the Printify shop. I think that's going to be important. Because like I said, I have bills to pay, and I have rent to pay, and I need to start doing something. I do have a part-time job. Unfortunately, I've lost a bit of hours because of physical health issues. I have a very bad back. I have a compressed spine from a couple of falls. I have cracked my lower spine, and I did not tend to it years ago as I should have, and it's not good. So it limits, like bending over is difficult. I also have arthritis in my knees. Climbing stairs is extremely difficult. I can go downstairs, but climbing them, it really hurts my knees. And that's affected my job, and I've lost some hours and shifts, and I need to find another way to start generating some income. I'm an artist. There's this thing called YouTube here, and I should be taking more advantage of this, right? There's opportunities here, I think. If you were to talk to the YouTube gurus, I'm probably not doing this the way I should. and it doesn't really matter right now. That's not important. The fact is, I need to be sitting here talking to you and doing things, and I need to be recording it, and I need to be uploading it. Everything will come together later. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking to turn the bloody camera on and just start doing something, right? I need to get those art supplies off the shelf, get a camera over it, and start doing something. I did that video last October, and it was a tech video, and it did really well, actually. The problem is I'm not in a position to do a lot of tech videos. I just happen to talk about the tablets and good tablets I think people can use, and how to find the right tablet. But I can't afford to keep buying tablets to keep reviewing every time a new one comes out, and I don't have a big enough channel for people to, companies to send me something to promote. I'm just not in that position yet. I can't do tech videos. I can talk about what I have already. I can talk about the apps that I use. Somebody was asking me about that, to share some of the apps that I use on iPad. Sure, I can do that. I can tell you the ones I use, the ones I have. And that might be kind of a good start. I've talked a lot about the ones that I use on the desktop too. So I am not expecting anything. If somebody sat through this, thank you. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. I'm sure there's things I've missed. It's a long way of saying I'm just here and I'm going to try again. I'm going to approach it a little bit differently. But I need to do something now. I need to make use of my time better. So here we go. All right. Anyways. That's it for this. This was the big comeback video again, and hopefully next time we can just sort of get right into it and we can start making art, because that's the fun part, right? We all need to. I think everyone should draw. I think everyone should pick up a pencil and make something, even if you can't draw. Do it anyways, right? Thank you very much, and hopefully this. I'm hoping I don't lose subscribers. I don't expect this to necessarily gain any at the moment. But maybe in the coming weeks, we'll get something going, right? You'll see me again.